Okay, so trying to get comfortable here. So this is part 2 of the video, but I want to really kind of share when you decide to do something different, it challenges you in ways that you weren't aware of would happen. Most often in relationships, we say that, we want this, and that, but what does that really look like? How does it look? I just happened to be in a relationship with a partner, and we were just talking about this yesterday, who knew exactly what it was that she no longer wanted. So she knew the opposite of what it looked like, so it had to look like something better. And so us deciding that we wanted to do something better and we wanted to be better people in relationships was something that I had never actually sat down with a partner and said, this is what I wanted and what I don't want, and this is how I want to move forward within my relationship. And that's what we did, and we wanted to do something totally different. And for me, I'm going to just be honest, in previous relationships, I am a Scorpio, and some people will say signs don't matter, but they do. If anybody who really studies like astrology and study, the lineup of how the planets were when you were born, and basically how things are lined up now for you. If you're really studying that, you understand it has a lot to do with who you are, your characteristics, and things of that nature. And so in the past, I was a very, in relationships, I was a very sexual person. And I knew that I had that mysterious sexual energy that pretty much could get people. Let me just say that. And so within my past relationships, sex was a more important thing than anything else was. I always felt, as an immature person within myself, was that I can get them through sexual relations. And then once I got them, then, everything else, we could work on everything else. But that never really happened. And so in this relationship, I said, I'm not going to do that whole sex thing. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to go into a relationship, or, start a relationship saying exactly who it is that I am. Telling all of my F-ups, telling everything about me that is not good, that would turn a person off, so that they would know exactly what it was that they were getting. And so in this relationship, that's exactly what I did. I talked about my credit score. I talked about my finances. I talked about, what I've done. Everything that would make a person kind of like turn them off and be like, nah, I don't deal with her. She ain't for the right thing, or, she got a lot of stuff to work on, that type of thing. But it didn't scare my partner off, and she in turn, told me about some things about herself that I would not have expected either. So the two of us sharing these things, we got those things not so much out of the way, because as you, grow and you begin to see some things, you say, you know what, here's something else that I realized that I didn't do right, in the past. And so we share those things as well. But what makes this so beautiful is that we go through things where, of course, I know that I probably get on her nerves, at times, because I'm really working through some things. And in working through those things, some of the old behaviors sometimes come up. And I'm not talking about that sexual behavior. That's done. When I said that, that's not what I'm going to do, that's not what I've done. And so everything has really been about getting together, learning and growing and talking and hashing some things out, and just really getting to the root of who you are as a person. And so again, I cannot stress how important that is, to have somebody that you can really just say, something that would seem dumb to you, or, like, it's important to you, but you're afraid to share it because the other person might think that it's dumb, or they may judge it, or they may think that you sound crazy, or whatever the case may be. But having this relationship where I'm able to just, share the deepest parts of me that sound crazy to my own self, and be able to have her to say, well, no, that doesn't really sound crazy. That's actual, that actually sounds like this, and begin to, share something from that's educational or spiritual or something that I didn't really know, but that my subconscious or the inner me was actually connecting with. And so it's just amazing. I can't even really describe just how, again, wonderfully challenging that it is to be able to share those things, but to have somebody also to understand it and to also reciprocate it. And so relationships, again, they're about reciprocation. And if we're not able to share certain parts of us, and that person's not able to share certain parts of them, then what we have is this superficial thing that we might as well not even really enter into, because it's a waste of time. Most certainly a waste of time. And that is something that, she and I really just said, that we didn't want to have this superficial relationship. We wanted to have something that had meat to it, that had depth to it, and that we could really understand each other from, a different perspective, and not this sexual thing, or not just this spiritual thing, or not just this physical thing. But all of those things intertwine that makes up a relationship and make it what it really is. And so I'm just so grateful. I'm just so grateful to have a partner that I do. And I'm really trying to, and I've been talking to her about this as well. We're not married, so I can't really use the word wife. And I really don't like to use partner, but for the lack of a better term, I'm using partner because some people will understand that. I have such a deep admonishment, or adoration, and such fandom of the person that I'm in relationship with. And I don't tell, specifically who I'm in a relationship with for a lot of different reasons. I used to do these things where I would post pictures of my ex, and today, honestly, on Facebook, those memories, oh my God, they still come up, and they, it's funny now, but it wasn't at first. I was like, whoa, okay, is this going to keep happening? But it did. And so, you just kind of keep going over, like it's all right. But I wanted to cultivate and to nurture something first that I could really be proud of. And that I wanted to cultivate and nurture my own self, and allow myself to understand really what relationships were about before I just started, saying all these different things, posting all these different things about love, when I feel for me that I'm really still trying to understand the general, scope of what love really is, and how it makes you feel, and how relationships, or this particular relationship that I'm in, should really be. And so I'm really just learning a lot. So I know a lot of people who have probably seen me in the past post pictures all over, social media of my ex, and now, you don't see me doing that. I realize that too, you can post all these pictures of people and say all these wonderful things, but really, is it really true? Really is your relationship, and not to disrespect or the relationship that I was in, because, it's a great relationship. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, for me, I had to understand the true depth of what a relationship was before I began to start really sharing it with the world. And so that is where I am with regards to that. I am in a relationship. I'm in a healthy, loving relationship. One that is allowing me to grow tremendously. I feel sometimes like I'm like 10 feet tall because of the experiences that I'm having. And yes, it is sometimes very difficult, too, because certain things that you have been fearful about sharing with people, the uncomfortableness of sharing that particular thing, sometimes is kind of difficult. But or either talking about certain things, or you find out really who you are in relationships when you have to, allow yourself to really talk about things, or you really want to get to the core of things, and sometimes it can be difficult. And so sometimes hearing some things about yourself too can be difficult. But those are things that we promised that we would do, that we would share, and we would talk about, those things that may be difficult for us to talk about, which means that I may have to tell you something about yourself that maybe you haven't realized for yourself. Of course, in a loving way. Of course not, well, you are this blah, blah, blah type of person, but to say, well, babe, have you thought about this, or, I noticed that, you're doing this, or me realizing that I have been a lazy lover, because when you're not really trying to be the best person that you can be in a relationship, for me, that's being lazy. It's being someone who is just, wanting to have this surface relationship just so you can have someone, or say that you have someone to lie next to, or that you be able to use as an emergency contact, because basically that's all it is. And so I just want to, again, I wanted to use these videos really just to talk about relationships. And I probably will be talking a little bit more about, relationships, and, how I'm, not only in my intimate relationship with my partner, but also relationships with other people. Because I feel like for me, it's going to be a release. Yes, I do share those things with my partner, but also to release those things out into the atmosphere so that I can, gain something better. And hopefully that whoever watches this video that needs it, because they probably are going through the same thing or have felt the same thing, can get a release as well. So that's my reasoning, or my why for sharing such personal experiences, or sharing, what I believe about relationships. Anyway, thank you for listening. Have a great day. Peace and blessings.